Welcome to Car and Driver. Long-term testing is a fun and unique corner of what we do here at the magazine. Every vehicle in our long-term stable undergoes 40,000 miles of daily life just to see what it's like to live day in, day out with a vehicle a bit longer than our standard press loans. Now, in the case of this 2023 Ioniq 5 here, it took us almost 2 years to get this thing through 40,000 miles. A short range will do that, but now the test is complete, so it's time to tell you what we've learned. We ordered this here Ioniq 5 in SEL all-wheel drive trim, which in the 2023 model year made this the middle child that didn't get too expensive but still contained niceties like a heated steering wheel and some nice fake leather upholstery. Now, all in, with a single option of $210 carpeted floor mats, we ended up spending $52,495, which is okay in this day and age. It's still kind of a bitter pill to swallow, but you do get a lot for your money. From a 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery, you get an EPA-estimated 266 miles of range, in addition to 2 motors producing a net 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. With a set of factory-fresh all-season tires installed, we took our brand-new Hyundai Ioniq 5 to the test track, where we put down a ripping 4.4-second 60-mile-an-hour sprint, which is no joke for a family car. We also put down a modest but still decent 0.85 G of stick on the skid pad. Now, as always, when the vehicle finishes its 40,000-mile evaluation, we take it to the test track again, see if it's any worse for the wear. You'll be happy to know 4.4 seconds to 60, still fresh as a daisy. Skid pad, a little lower, but the tires are tired, so I get it. Now, it didn't take long with the Ioniq 5 before editors started filling its logbook with effusive praise. Now, all the usual EV-flavored compliments are here. Its low center of gravity from the battery makes it a hoot to drive on the cloverleaf. And, of course, with 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque, it is a hoot to drive this family crossover at just about any speed. Really, most of our time was spent just having a blast. Yet another high point in the Ioniq 5 logbook, time and time again, was interior storage space. If you're a person who just loves dumping your pockets out the second you get in a car, the Hyundai will accommodate you. I mean, you've got a flat floor here for bags and purses. You've got cubbies and wells and underarm storage and trays and wireless device chargers. Needless to say, if you have something that needs a place, you'll probably find a place for it. I mean, heck, fold the seat flat, which takes no time at all, and you've basically got enough space in the back half of this thing for a studio apartment, which is what our road warrior Jacob did, residing in the back of the Ioniq 5 for a couple of days using nothing but the vehicle's utility mode, which allows high voltage things like climate control or USB ports for charging your phone to still function. In conjunction with the larger 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery, Jacob had no problem turning this thing into something that costs about as much as your average Brooklyn studio. Now, as for what we didn't like in the Hyundai Ioniq 5, some complaints manifested themselves a little more quickly in the logbook than others. Take the rear windshield, for example. There is no wiper. Hyundai didn't see fit to add one. As a result, anytime you're in any sort of inclement weather, it just covers the back glass and you can't see squat. It's kind of annoying. But thankfully, Hyundai fixed that for model year 25 by finally adding a rear wiper back there. Sadly, no matter how much we whinged and cried and opened our pocketbooks, Hyundai just wouldn't sell us a retrofit. The Ioniq 5's infotainment system is easy to master, but it's not exactly perfect. In our opinion, there's just too much reliance on the touchscreen. I mean, the simple act of seat heating takes 1, 2, 3 just to turn on. It's a little much. And adjusting the climate can be even trickier, especially if you're on the road. Now, in terms of non-ergonomic related things, we did have one small issue in here. The wiring harness seems to have picked up a couple ghosts along the way. The parking sensors love telling us that there's something in front of the vehicle when we're stopped, when, frankly, there isn't. We also had a couple problems related to charging. No, for once it wasn't that. This little flap here, this little flap hiding the DC fast charge bit, see, you gotta kind of get your fingernails in and over, and it basically tears your fingertips to shreds every time you want a DC fast charge. God help you if you want to do it in the winter. It's going to be like trying to open a combination lock with Hulk hands on. The real-world highway range test that we do for EVs can be pretty brutal, and it was definitely brutal to the Hyundai. While the EPA says the car can get 266 miles of range on a charge, that is with combined style driving, both city and highway. When you're on the highway by itself, you're draining battery a little bit faster. As a result, we only got 210 miles on the range test. Now, while 210 miles against 266 might seem kind of low, don't fret. Very few vehicles on the market are able to offer a highway range anywhere near what the EPA estimate is, just because EVs are vastly less efficient on the highway. So really, when it comes down to it, the Ioniq 5 was about par for the course. Now, when it comes to charging, the Ioniq 5 does a pretty decent job at a DC fast charger, but we suggest, if at all possible, buy a home charger. Plug it in every night when you go home, take it off the plug every day when you go to work or go to the grocery store. It's as easy as it gets, and frankly, when the temperatures start to drop, you're probably gonna need it. In casual observation, we noticed anywhere from 10 to 20% drops in overall range the second temperatures started plunging below freezing. And if you don't want to be stuck at a DC fast charger, which is also charging slowly in the winter, just get a home plug. Now, the Ioniq 5 proved itself to be quite the winter machine as well. Over 2 winters, in fact. Every time the snowy stuff started coming down, we would slap on a set of Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5 EV tires, which are dedicated winter tires meant for EVs and their uniquely heavy existence. Now, we'd had a hard time telling you it was even winter each time that came around because the Hakkas kept this thing stable and secure all the time. But of course, if you want to be a hooligan and whip some cool donuts around in your local parking lot, just a hearty stab of the right pedal and one ESC switch away. EV manufacturers love to tout just how little maintenance their vehicles require, especially in the early stages of ownership, and the Ioniq 5 was no different. Over the first 40,000 miles, we spent a whopping $82 on service, comprising a single trip to the dealer between 10 and 20,000 miles. And really, the trip to the dealer wasn't that crazy. All we did was a tire rotation and a cabin air filter change. Stuff that you could easily do yourself at home. In all actuality, the most money we spent on the Ioniq 5 was, weirdly enough, for wiper blades. The stock Korean units are never really that good. They tend to give up a lot earlier than you think they would, and ours was no different, so we swapped it out with a set of $78 PIAA silicone blades, which worked great. Until they didn't. One of them managed to take flight directly off the wiper arm during a road trip, at which point we spent another $64 on another set of wiper blades. Now, sadly, the wipers were not the only pain point in the service and maintenance column. We did have a bit of an issue with the 12-volt battery, because don't forget, EVs, in addition to having their big high-voltage battery, also still runs a 12-volt system for a lot of your ancillary stuff. Ours died twice in short order, and that was kind of frustrating. But even more frustrating was the second time, when we had to flatbed it to the dealer. So we took it to the dealer, and they performed a couple of technical service bulletins, which aren't recalls, but are kind of close. Anyway, both were related to the low-voltage system. That was not our problem. Thankfully, our problem was just a bunk battery. The dealer replaced it for free, and we've had no problem since. Now, throughout our entire long-term experience with the Ioniq 5, one friend was always there for us: the trunk clunk. Early on in the loan, the Ioniq 5 developed a clunk somewhere between about here and about there, making it sound like a loose charging cable was just kind of bouncing around the trunk every time we drove over, you know, bumps, humps, what have you. And we took it to the dealer, and they executed their official remedy, which was to beat this striker with a hammer and a pry bar, and that did fix it for, maybe a couple of weeks. Then it came back, and we never fixed it. Now, other than functioning as a 2-year running stage production of The Telltale Heart, we really enjoyed our time with the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It provided near negligible service costs over its 40,000 miles, with the only real financial pain point being the incredible flying windshield wiper out front. But honestly, when it comes down to it, the Ioniq 5 took a licking and kept on ticking. Its pleasant but powerful demeanor never changed over the course of our 40,000 miles, whether we were doing road trips or grocery store runs. I mean, heck, it'll even function as AirSat's housing in a pinch. And now you can finally get one with a rear wiper. Oh, by the way, we also found out the horn doesn't work. Like and subscribe to the Car and Driver YouTube channel.